Hello guys, the DB Grinder here, back at it again with another video, and this time we have Maximilian Hen versus Lumina, and this is going to be more post-SUDA replays, and we are going to hop right in and see Lumina win the rock, paper, scissors, shoot, and they'll decide to go first. 60 versus 40, opening hands, we have Natter's Servant, Kusanagi, Node, Prayers, and Fua. They have Druid Worm, Lacrima, Ghost Ogre, Delta, and Sornier. Okay, so they will go main phase, normal Lacrima effect, dump the Engraver, and then go into Requiem, and then Requiem effect, tribute to go special, they chain Fua, then they just go ahead and special summon out the Engraver from the deck. I mean, there's no way you have another target, right? It's just always Engraver. Yeah, go ahead, summon out the Engraver. Now they have to decide, do they want to Engraver put back, which shuts off the trap and make DDD? Or do they just Requiem effect to equip and then send the Engraver, and then we have Delta in hand and we still get to keep the trap? It's probably smarter to do that. Yeah, effect to equip and then effect to go send. Yup, and then pass to draw another Natter's Servant. Now Delta does negate the activation, so they do try to stop Nadir. They could use another one and talents them, so they go Prayers, Tribute, and then they go ahead and get hit with Delta. Okay, go ahead, bring out Delta Driver, and then Kusanagi effect to add back the Prayers from the graveyard to the hand. And then activate talents to look at hand, and they admit defeat. So, on to the next game. We will go ahead and we will see Lumina decide to go first. We have Talents, Trap, Imperm, Nihilus, and Saji. They have Engraver, Strike, Baldrake, Drill Beam, and Ghost Ogre. Okay, so it looks like they're playing the Fiendsmith, Primite, Bystial deck. Because these get you to Fiendsmith. This is basically just a Fiendsmith package for this deck. Okay, they're gonna go main phase, activate Engraver, go ahead, search, and then grab out Track in the Lurie. Now then Lurie Graveyard effect, drop the Nihilus, and then, yeah, draw into another Nihilus, go into Requiem, and then Requiem effect, tribute go special, bring out Lacrima, and then Lacrima effect to go dump the Fiendsmith in Paradise, Requiem effect to equip, and then turn that into a Necro Equip Princess, and then set the Strike and Drill Beam, and then pass. So this card doesn't do anything, so you have to reveal a Primate or a normal monster in your hand, which is also why a lot of people were talking about the new card. Well, I guess it's not a new card, right? Yeah, no, it is a new card. The one that was worded incorrectly, I don't even know its name, but the one that was worded incorrectly, because it was worded that it would add back during the standby phase, not just during your standby phase, which would mean you'd always have a Primite card in hand to go ahead and reveal off this. But that's just not how not how that new card works. That makes Drill Beam a worse card. Draw into Droplet. Activate the Molt Charmy in the main phase. That's an interesting time to activate it. They can just chain Lacrima, summon Requiem, and get Necro Equip effect to draw, but I guess they want them to activate a monster effect. Even though they have a way to beat Imperm already because they have Droplet, but I guess they have to draw. Yeah, actually, yeah, I was gonna say, I guess we don't actually beat it because we need talents to draw, or Saji isn't a starter here. So they go Necro Equip to draw, but they said, wait, I should have chained my Lacrima. Yeah, chain Lacrima, summon Requiem, then Necro Equip effect to draw, chain Imperm onto that, then Requiem effect, tribute go special, bring out Lacrima, just go dump an Engraver, talents to draw 2 into a Omno and a Imperm, normal Saji effect, they strike it, and then just on to the next game. Yeah, I mean, they have Droplet Imperm, so they could have played it out. Yeah, I probably should have played it out. On to the next game, we'll see Maximilian go first. We have Trap, Cross, Sword, called by Saji. Literally all of these hands have been awkward. Every single one of them. They have Druid Worm, Perulia, Sornier, White Dustin, and Draw. Yeah, you play this for the Primites because it's a Light Fiend. Then they drop Perulia, they called by that. Then normal Sword effect goes search. Grab out the X Ryzeal, then drop Draw and Lockbird on resolution. And now, special summon out X by dumping the Mirror Logic, activate Cross, make a Detonator effect to attach, and then in response, chain Druid Worm. They go ahead and negate that, and then set the trap, pass to draw Veiler. Technically, they could have chained Sornier, which would have stopped them. But I guess if you chain, then they don't have to negate anyways, but it would still just have 2 materials, but you'd have to show 2 cards in hand. They draw a Veiler. Could have also Druid Wormed. I guess if you Druid Worm before, It's also kind of awkward, like, before they make the detonator, because you guarantee get rid of that. But now they're going to go normal summon out the White Dustin, and then go into Requiem, and then activate Jerusalem effect to go banish the White Dustin, and then chain Requiem effect, attribute, and go special. They go ahead and cross to negate that, and then bring out Jerusalem by banishing. Sure. Activate Sornir, banish the extra Ryzeal to special summon out, and then they're thinking on this, because like they can't go Moon in the Requiem, they already did that. They could potentially make like a rank 6. Yeah, I was gonna say, I don't think there's a link that really matters here. I guess SP, even then, you just pop it, and if they chain the banish, then you get detonator back. That beats the SP anyways. Unless there's something I'm forgetting. But they said M7. Oh, okay, yeah, I guess M7 could beat over this, but then they get to detach and negate it, but then they get to make Zeus. So now, pass, draw X Ryzeal. Oh, they're going for full armored. This card doesn't even do anything, right? You just summon it on top, it gangs attacks, sure. Target an XYZ card in your graveyard, add to your hand, but then if something becomes equipped, but it won't. Unless if I'm tripping, does that card even do anything there? Unless if there was something else they were planning on doing. Cross to go put back, and then draw into Bonfires, special summon out X by dumping Eclipse Twins. X effect goes search, they Veiler that, and then, yeah, shows them Bonfire Saji, they admit defeat and offer a rematch. And then we will see the Primite Bystial Fiendsmith deck go first. Opening hands, we have Saji, Kusanagi, Trap, Sword, Prayers. They have Fua, Lordly Load, Imperm, Alluri, and Bystial Magmamut. And then normal summon out Luri, make Requiem, Requiem effect tribute go special, bring out Lacrima, Lacrima effect go dump the Engraver, Requiem effect to equip, Engraver, shuffle back, special summon itself out, and then go ahead and make the Necro Equip Princess, overlay those into DDD, activate the Lordly Lord, to go ahead and search out the Drill Beam, and then activate the Load effect to go ahead and special summon out from the deck the White Dustin. But the thing is, if we use this to special summon out from the deck, then for the rest of the turn, you cannot activate the effects of special summon monsters on the field. So it's not like the other one that special summons by paying 2,000. That one doesn't lock you, but you also have to start with that one. Because you have to have no other monsters on the field when you do that. The Drill Beam says if you control a normal monster, then you can still use it. So we can still use that. Okay, then they draw Saji, and then go main phase, normal sword effect, they Drill Beam it, which will negate and banish it, and then activate Prayers, tribute Saji, and then DDD to negate, and then they said 1 second. Okay, they're going to tribute the Kusanagi, because then this can add back the Prayers, and this can just be activated again. So, okay, well, they just go ahead and admit defeat. I mean, they could have, like, what do? You just negate that, they add back, they activate it again, you negate that. Is that what they were planning on doing? Okay, well, they went ahead and admit defeat, and I can't read whatever they're saying. Now we have Omno, Kusanagi, Trap, Natter Servant, Ice. They have Tracked, Veiler, Load, Ash, and Fiendsmith in Paradise. So they go normal Ice, Ice effect. They show Trap, but I mean, you know, it's gonna happen when you play some bad cards in your deck. Normal Ice effect, and then that resolves. Go ahead, bring out X. X effect goes search. Grab out Sword Ryzeal. Overlay, make Duo Drive. Duo Drive effect to go search. They Ash Blossom that. They Ash Blossom that. You don't Veiler that when this deck has power spells like Natter's Servant. Even just like ashing the Saji is like better than Veilering it. Then special sword effect. They go ahead and Veiler that. Okay, if they were planning on using all their hand traps on basically Ice Ryzeal anyway, maybe you should have just hand trapped Ice Ryzeal and put them on have an extender. Natter's Servant go dump. Dump Herald, which you can't do because it doesn't have the, you know, it has to add something with less, well, you have to dump something and add something with like attack that has like less. So this has 600 attack, this has 15, you can't do that. That's why you have to dump Garua, because it has equal or less to. So they did that in the wrong order. I feel like you would know that, right? Otherwise, everybody would just do that every time. You'd dump Herald at the beginning, and then you would dump Herald now, and you'd dump Herald twice, but you can't dump Herald twice off of Maximus and add your servant play. Then they dump Desiree Requiem, so out duo, we draw Talents, Prayers, put back, Talents look at hand, and then just go to the next game. Yeah, activate Ritual Spell, summon out, and then on to game 3. We'll go ahead and see the Fiendsmith pile go first. Opening hands, we have Ritual Spell, Bonfire, Nihilist, Bonfire, Saji. They have Lacrima, Engraver, Lacrima, Engraver, Druis Worm. Okay. So normal summon Lacrima, effect, dump Trap, link off into Requiem. Requiem effect, Tribuco special, bring out Engraver, Requiem effect to equip, and then we can make a Necro equip. And then activate the Engraver effect to discard and go search. Then that'll grab out Fiendsmith Tract. And then Necroquip effect to draw into a Baldrake. Engraver effect, shuffle back to special summon out. They chain Charm, you draw in the Prayers. And then overlay for a DDD. Activate Tract, which if they add Lurie, discard Lurie, then they get to draw again. Draw into draw. Tract effect to go ahead and fuse off into a Desiree. And they said was equipped. I'm confused. What? You can definitely do that, right? Yeah, you can fusion summon one. Maybe they're just saying like it's not even worth it. Oh, they're saying the Requiem effect was already used to equip. So what is the point of doing this? Because you're just setting up a Desiree with no negate. Okay. Yep, they're right. Then set track pass to draw on the draw. Activate Bonfire, go ahead, search out X, and then special summon out X by dumping Mirror Logic, X1 Mirror Logic 2 onto DDD, go ahead, search out Sword, and then special summon out Sword, then Sword effect goes search, and then that'll go ahead, grab out the Ice Ryzeal from the decks in the hand, overlay, and then this will make a Detonator, and then Detonator effect to attach. Oh, they're thinking if they want to do anything to that. Okay, they're going to Fiendsmith and Paradise chain Detonator to pop the Tract, which I think is fine, because they also have Engraver in hand to search Tract next turn. So it doesn't even matter too much that we lost that. Hello, Future Grinder here. And I think the reason why they didn't chain Detonator effect in response to Desiree effect to send the Detonator, because we could have went ahead and popped the DDD. I think the reason why we didn't do that was to potentially play around Molcharmies in the opponent's hand, because they have to control no cards to be able to activate them. And at this point, the DDD is not a threat to us, because we know at some point we will most likely be able to resolve our Mitsurugi cards, and Omno will be able to go ahead and wipe the DDD anyways later on. So I believe that's why we didn't chain Detonator to pop this, which may seem a little bit silly at first because you're just not removing a body. But I think it's like okay to do that, especially when you know 2 of the cards in the opponent's hand. Because they did the tracked play on accident into the Desiree when they realized they shouldn't have. Alright, back to the video. Actually, not back to the video yet. The future grinder here, and I wanted to say one more thing, is that it is game 3, so the odds of the opponent having a Charmy in hand are much lower than if it was game 1, because game 1 you obviously have 3 Fua in your main deck, but game 2 and 3, you're going to side down on Fua to potentially 1 copy just for crossout. But it's also a little bit hard to tell when you're playing against a deck that's like 60 cards. A deck that's like not super meta relevant, right? Like if I was playing against Ryzeal Fiendsmith, I would know they'd only have 1 Fua in their deck, and that's a 1-of to punish me that could potentially punish me. I would not assume that like my Ryzeal Fiendsmith opponent game 3 would have multiple Charmies in their deck going first, because it just wouldn't make sense. Unless if they potentially had Perulia for the crossout also, which most people have swayed away from. But okay, I just wanted to go ahead and add that little thing in there, and now you can go back to the video. Desiree, shuffle back, out, and then normal ice effect goes special, bring out Node, and then they're thinking here, I mean the DDD's shut down by Mirror Logic, they do have a couple Bystials, they could drop both of them here, so they're gonna go Baldrake. They said, hold on, shouldn't summon Node, I should summon X. Okay, so banish Detonator, special summon out, Druis Worm, banish, special summon out, okay. And then, Yeah, I mean, this is just over, basically, right? Prayers go ahead, grab out the Omno, summon out Saji, lose a Hunter, then Saji effect goes Search. That's going to grab out the Prayer from the deck to the hand. Activate Ritual Spell, dump, summon out, then trying to activate Saji effect there, but yeah, can't do that. Kusanagi, Chainlink 1, Omno, Chainlink 2, Baldric, Chainlink 3. So they're going to go ahead, tribute the Druid Worm. They said, that's also rituals. Yes, this can also banish rituals, which makes this play look really awkward. Because we already used prayer effect, and we could have just overlaid and forced out the Bystial stuff, and then we could have just wiped the board, and then you just went off the Mitsurugi stuff by itself. Future Grinder back for one last thing is I actually think it was okay to go for the Mitsurugi line here, because that guarantees that we'll be able to resolve our Ryzeal stuff, and if we can resolve our Duo Drive into Dweller, then we have Cross Up and we have Dweller, and our opponent's deck is basically just a Fiendsmith deck, and they're never beating that, and on top of that, we still have the follow-up in hand to guarantee the win next turn with the Mitsurugis and more Ryzeal follow-up. So I think this line was correct, even though they didn't realize that Baldric was able to banish the Omno. I still think this is the correct line. Boop. So they do still wipe the board, and then, yeah, they're going to activate Baldric. We're going to force them to discard a card or negate it. Then they have the Jerusalem effect to go send the X Ryzeal. Sure. And then overlay, summon out Duo Drive, but, like, even though we made a mistake there, like, our opponent basically just has Fiendsmith. Like, that's all they have. That's all their deck is. Summon Duo Drive effect to attach, Duo Drive effect to detach, and go search. Go ahead, grab out the Ryzeal Cross and the Node Ryzeal. I don't even get the point of playing, like, the Primite cards, right? They're just, like, worse than Ryzeal cards in, like, almost every instance. So it's like, why would I play Primite cards over Ryzeal cards when Ryzeal cards are better, the combo's better, I feel like everything about them is better. They facilitate the Fiendsmiths basically just as well as the Primates do, and they're just, like, better cards in general. I feel like you'd be playing Ryzeal in this deck over the Primate stuff. And then activate cross effect. Like, normal ice just does so much. The card's so good. Cross draw on the Saji, special node, and then activate the node effect when they have no targets in graveyard. Interesting decision. Yeah. But the opponent's just going to admit defeat there, because maybe they could have done that differently is what they're saying. Because they had this under this, right? So they could have attached X instead. Am I tripping? I'm pretty sure that's how it was, and they could have attached that instead, then had no discard special summon back out, and then win from there. Because the opponent, all they have is Fiendsmith, so if we just set up Dweller, our opponent is on 0 cards. And they probably won't be able to top deck out of that, because, like, what's a Bystial doing when you have Cross? What's, like, anything doing when you have Cross, and then Dweller them, and then you have Mitsurugi follow-up? And that's, like, with them misplaying, too, because they could have, like, done that better. I guess, like, this is, like, still fine, though. Maybe this is just the correct way to do it? I don't know. I feel like there had to have been a way to play that better. I feel like they definitely didn't play that turn perfectly, but it just didn't matter because the opponent didn't have very much. I feel like these decks just aren't the strongest, especially when you're, like, almost only focusing on Fiendsmith. Imagine if your opponent has a Bystial, then you're, like, really cooked because you're really just playing, like, a Fiendsmith deck. And if you get Bystial'd, like, that's really tough. You lose a lot. And you don't do very much after that. So it's like, yeah, I don't know. I don't like these Fiendsmith pile decks. I think the Fiendsmith cards are very good, but I think they're very good when they're in a deck that has, like, a strong engine, and then on top of that, you have Fiendsmith stuff. You know, archetypes that can facilitate the Fiendsmith stuff very well. But with all that being said, the DB Grinder signing off. Peace, have a nice day, stay safe.